I'm having a vision. I can hear the rumbling of hooves. I can see the men riding through the narrow alleyways of Shah Jahanabad. The city that is the apple of the eye of many a ruler will lie in ruins. The rulers of Delhi will fall victim to their own greed for power. While they are busy fighting amongst themselves, the city will inflame the passions of a ruthless conqueror from the west. He will take away everything that made the city what it was, all the wealth and grandeur. I can hear the wailing women and crying children, orphaned by a war they don't understand, and are thrown onto the streets, left to fend for themselves. I can hear the rich men begging for help, begging for a drop of water to quench their thirst. Once dressed in the finest livery, now reduced to rags. Their homes torn down to rubble, their wealth snatched away from them. Those who were masters once are now in the streets begging for alms. Delhi is a cruel hostess. Those who try to control her will eventually meet their end. We are just guests in this fabled city. No one can own this city. Kings come and kings go, but the allure of the city never fades. Only time will tell what happens to Delhi. Delhi, the heart of India. So far you've seen so many kings come and go. Imagine you're reading the story of India. There are so many chapters in this story. An important chapter is the Mughals. Of course, you know the Mughals. But as you're nearing the end of the chapter, a new and very important character is introduced. Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb was the sixth and perhaps the last effective ruler of the Mughal Empire. Out of all the Mughal emperors, Aurangzeb is probably the most controversial. To this day, there are debates about his legacy, and people cannot make up their minds about him. Why don't we take a look at his life and see for ourselves? Remember Shah Jahan and Mumtaz Mahal? You know, of the Taj Mahal fame. He was their third son. Aurangzeb always knew that his elder brother, Dara Shuko, was the favorite son. From a young age, he was always trying to win his father's approval. And let me tell you, it was not easy to impress Shah Jahan. Aurangzeb literally had to fight a raging elephant to win his father's approval. One day, Aurangzeb and his father Shah Jahan were watching an elephant fight. When things suddenly went haywire, one of the elephants charged straight at Shah Jahan. Aurangzeb leapt into action and stopped the rogue elephant with a spear and protected his father. And that was the first time he saw a glimmer of approval in Shah Jahan's eyes. Now, Aurangzeb was just 15 years old when he faced off against this rampaging elephant. 15 years old! Imagine facing off a raging elephant when you're only old enough to be in the 10th standard. Tougher than the board exams? What do you think? Needless to say, his father was impressed and awarded him with the title of Bahadur, which means brave. Aurangzeb was a very tough boy, as we already know. In addition to fighting elephants to protect his father, he also had a lot of military experience. Under Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb used to travel the length and breadth of the empire, fighting wars for his father's empire. He became a great warrior and commander during this time. During his father's 30-year reign, he only came back to Delhi once to get married. In 1636, at the age of 18, Aurangzeb was appointed as the Viceroy of the Deccan. Then, Shah Jahan fell ill. Oh no! Who will inherit the empire next? Will it be Dara, the emperor's favorite? Or does Aurangzeb, the slayer of elephants, the supreme warrior, stand a chance? Yes, after Shah Jahan fell ill, in typical Mughal style, a war of succession broke out between all his sons. They all rushed to the capital, mobilizing their supporters to grab the throne. Although there had been many succession disputes in Mughal history, the struggle between Shah Jahan's 4 sons was perhaps the bloodiest. In the end, Aurangzeb emerged victorious. And so, in the year 1658, Aurangzeb ascended to the most powerful throne in India, the Mughal throne. By the way, Shah Jahan was still alive when Aurangzeb became the emperor. He was imprisoned in Agra fort till his death in 1666. If you look at it from a present-day perspective, it all seems very brutal. Sons killing fathers, brothers killing brothers. But the fight for succession meant that only the most capable administrators came to power. If they weren't capable, they wouldn't have won the succession war. There is an old Persian saying, Ya takht, ya tabut, which means either the throne or the grave. Succession battles were a tradition amongst the Mughals. This meant that the brothers were expected to fight for the throne. I wonder how it would have been when Aurangzeb finally took the throne.
All rise for the great bearer of the Mughal name, the first of his name, the conqueror of the world, the ornament of the throne, His Royal Highness, the 6th Emperor of the Mughal Empire, Aurangzeb.
All right, everybody, sit down. Enough celebration. We have a lot of work to do. This empire is a mess. We need to get things back in order. No more laziness. No more inefficiency. I'm going to ban alcohol throughout the empire. I'm banning singing and dancing too. Good Muslims don't take part in such extravagance and exhibition. I don't care about accumulating wealth. My only wealth is my knowledge of Islam. First order of business is to expand the borders of the Mughal Empire like never before. Anyone who stands in the way will be crushed. If you don't believe me, ask my father. He is in jail. I put him there. He will tell you all about how I killed his favorite son to become king. His favorite son wasn't me, by the way. Even family cannot come in the way of Mughal greatness. Now, let's get to work. We have an empire to build. This elaborate throne that you see behind me was the seat of Mughal power, the famous Peacock throne. Sitting here, Aurangzeb made decisions which earned him the notorious reputation as an intolerant person. While his predecessors were known for their secular views and tolerance, Aurangzeb became known for his orthodoxy or strictness. He hated large public celebrations, so he restricted celebrations of Eid. He imposed Islamic law, also known as Sharia law, a code of conduct that needs to be followed by the Muslims. He is regarded as one of the few South Asian rulers who have fully established Sharia law and Islamic economics in his kingdom. Aurangzeb insisted on compiling Islamic law into a codified book that could be much more easily followed. So, he brought together hundreds of scholars of Islam from all over the Muslim world to organize such laws into a book called the Fatawa-e-Alamgiri. Using the Fatawa-e-Alamgiri as a guidebook, Aurangzeb sent officials throughout the empire to enact Islamic law and end socially corrupt practices like drinking and gambling. Taxes that were not in line with Islamic law were also abolished, a policy that was very popular with the Mughal Empire's subjects. Everyone loves the idea of no tax. But he had to make up for the lost revenue. So he reimposed a military tax called jizya on all the non-Muslims in his kingdom. As you can imagine, the non-Muslims were not happy with this. However, he wasn't really against other religions. He was just really invested in his own religion. And he was really strict when it came to duties and responsibilities. This was regarded as intolerant behavior by the public over time. As we'll see, this public perception also played a role in the downfall of the Mughal Empire. For all his intolerance, he was also the Mughal emperor who employed the largest number of Hindus in his administration. In fact, one of Aurangzeb's most trusted financial officers was a Hindu named Raja Raghunatha. Even in letters written on his deathbed, Aurangzeb remembered the advice given to him by Raghunatha. Aurangzeb even insisted on employment based on ability rather than religion. Once, an employee petitioned Aurangzeb to deny promotions to Persians because they belonged to a different sect. What do you think Aurangzeb would have done? He rejected this petition and replied, "What connection have earthly affairs with religion? For you is your religion, and for me is mine."